Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Count down to 1 minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us today. Right along with me this hour, and we'll discuss automobiles and oils and fuels and tires but better yet, we'll discuss how to communicate with your local service shop when you have a specific or particular problem with your automobile, or you just want to keep from having a problem. Now, that's a great idea. What a novel idea that is. Well, how do you do that? One word: proactive. And that's what you have to be in order to maintain your home, your body, your teeth, your house, and or your car. And that's where I come in. Just consider me your personal car consultant. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by Power Frame Grid Technology. Batteries containing Power Frame grids are engineered with confidence to ensure you can trust them start after start. Look for the Power Frame logo on the outside and know you're getting true strength on the inside. To learn more about this very innovative, absolutely over-the-top grid that we talk about here on Bobby Likis Car Clinic, go to powerframe.com. Okay, Miss Jan will take your calls. Let's get started. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts as well. A little more when I come back. And also from Kearney, Nebraska, it is time for the Central Nebraska Auto Club Report.
O'Reilly. If your AC is blowing hot air, let O'Reilly Auto Parts help bring back the cool this summer. While you may need to eventually service your AC unit, get immediate relief with Interdynamics R134A refrigerant with leak sealer. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When it comes to your car battery, you expect it to work. Turn the key and go. Thanks to PowerFrame Grid technology, you can trust your battery to be there start after start. Batteries with PowerFrame Grid technology are tested to provide superior cranking power with up to 70% better electrical flow than other grid designs. Look for PowerFrame on the outside for true strength on the inside. Visit Advance Auto Parts or CarQuest for a battery with PowerFrame Grid technology, or to learn more, go to powerframe.com. That's powerframe.com. We recently had an '08 Ford Expedition coming to the shop, and the owner was complaining about an awful burning smell after driving the car any distance. After giving the vehicle a once-over, we found leaking valve cover gaskets, which were allowing oil to run down onto the exhaust manifold. The entire engine bay was also covered with a fine film of oil from a bad power steering hose. We needed to clean everything first so we could accurately diagnose and fix the problem quickly. We used Berryman B33 engine degreaser and sprayed it onto a cool engine. We let it sit for a short time, then rinsed it off, leaving everything clean and oil-free. Once we replaced the hose and the valve cover gaskets, the Ford was ready to get back on the road. Berryman B33 engine degreaser was perfect for this job. The fast spray-on, rinse-off cycle saves time and conserves water. The product's also safe to use. Its biodegradable formula contains no harmful phosphates, solvents, abrasives, or VOCs. Learn more about Berryman B33 degreaser and other great Berryman products at berrymanproducts.com. That's berrymanproducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Racing Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grow, now you're here. Your aroma helps me wake and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with today's broadcast. It's a special day for a lot of reasons. And for those of you who are new to Bobby Likis Car Clinic, I'm Bobby Likis. I own and operate Bobby Likis Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair. And the Pre-Repair stands for the prevention of repair. It's a special service program that we created so that our customers' cars would not break down. What a novel idea. Well, after 36 years, now we're 46 years in the business, but after 37 years in the business, I wanted to find a cure for cancer. Well, I won't be so bold as to say that. A cure for breakdowns. And I will tell you, and I'm sure that there's not a doctor alive that wouldn't love to be able to say, I have found a cure for the disease that I treat in my profession. And I would share with you that that's exactly what we did. And we know that this to be true because our customers drive healthier cars than those customers or those lack of customers or those car owners that don't bring their cars here. Not that there aren't other shops that provide great services. Not at all. I wouldn't say that. But I'm saying that we created Pre-Repair for the prevention of repair, which is a proactive, and it mirrors, and I didn't know this until I was made aware by a local gentleman who was was with Pensacola Aviation, and now he's with his own company, and that's Skip Giles. Came to me one day and said, hey, Likis, your pre-repair plan, it's just, that's what we do. He said, you're suggesting that car owners do all of these services proactively. He said, that's what we do in the FAA. We do an annual inspection whether the plane moves out of the hangar all year or not. So having said that, I just want to say that we recently won from our Pensacola News Journal a Gannett, and I announced this last week, and I'm just so very proud of it. This year we were inducted into the Hall of Fame for Automotive Service and Oil Change Best of the Bay. We won Best of the Bay 7 years. That includes all local independent stores, chain stores, and new car dealerships. So we've won that. So how do you beat that? Well, Hall of Fame. So again, hats off to my team for doing what it takes to win Hall of Fame. Now, let's shift gears physically, literally, and drive out to Kearney, Nebraska, where Brad Koenig is with us, giving us a report on what's going on. And I'm holding in my hot little hands here, for those of you that watch Bobby Live, I'm holding a plaque. If you see this plaque, there you go. Can you see that? That work? Online? Good. So watch Bobby Live. Now, whether or not you can read that, but what it says Central Nebraska Auto Club. And so it's cruise night in Kearney, Nebraska. Brad Koenig, I want to welcome you back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Like, this is an annual event, right?
You betcha. Thanks, Bobby. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to turn the mic to you. I want you to paint us a picture of what's going on in downtown Kearney, Nebraska.
Well, thanks, Bobby. Well, this is the 30th anniversary that we're celebrating of Cruise Night. And Cruise Night it started out as a one-day car show with a dance in the evening, and then it grew to 2 days. Then it grew to 3 days, then it grew to 4 days, and now we have events that go parts or all of 5 days. And it's all kinds of automotive-themed activities. We have 3 show and shines. We have a burnout contest. We have NHRA drag races. As a matter of fact, at the drag strip tonight, they've got a jet engine-powered dragster along with a top fuel dragster, so there's some fun cars there. We have a parade. We did a tour of the nursing and assisted living homes on Wednesday evening. It's just, the analogy I like to make is it's a lot like a menu in a restaurant. You just kind of go in and you look at the menu and say, well, this looks good, I'm going to try that, and I want to try that. There's just so many events over the 5 days that we have. Today is our biggest day, and we have our biggest show and shine. We actually have 3 total show and shines, and today the city of Kearney gives us special permission to park classic and collectible cars in the downtown Kearney core area. And for the last 5 years or more, we've averaged between 550 and 600 cars. So it's a big event. We have a dedicated food court with all that yummy summertime stuff that everybody likes. Funnel cakes, ice cream, hamburgers, hot dogs, those kinds of things. So it's just a lot of fun.
Well, let me ask a question. As you were talking, I'm just placing myself there, and then one of these years I've got to come out there. Are there enough hotels? Where does everyone stay? I mean, how many? I wonder from an economical standpoint, number one, how that affects. We know it's a positive effect with having the largest car show probably in the state of Nebraska, but certainly for miles and miles around. Are there enough hotels, or do people open their homes and invite others to stay?
Well, you know, it's really interesting. Kearney is really a convention and special activities center for the state. And we have over 1,700 hotel rooms, and there's another hotel under construction as we speak. So there are lots and lots of hotel rooms. But by 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, you're not going to be able to find one. I'm pretty sure of that. But, yeah, we take care of our visitors and our guests. And last year we had cars that came here, I believe it was 8 or 9 states that actually participate in the event. And, of course, we have spectators from that large of an area, if not larger. So huge turnouts. You talk about economic impact. About 5 years ago, we had a young fellow approached us about doing his master's thesis on something about cruise night. And so we had him do a statistical survey for economic impact. And that's when we were 4 days. Now we're 5. But at that time, statistically applied to the universe of people that we believe are here, it came out north of $3 million for the local economy. So it's a huge positive impact.
And Brad, to that end, just for those folks across the nation who are tuned into Bobby Likis Car Clinic now, folks, we're talking with Brad Kernick from Kearney, Nebraska, real time, live, and we talked about the economic benefits of the car show there. What about the charitable organizations? What connection does the car show and the finances, does that affect local charities?
Sure. Well, it's a two-pronged approach, Bobby. First of all, every year our car club supports scholarships for young people that are going to go into that automotive industry that's so important to us. And so we support people that are going to study auto mechanics or auto body repair. And so we think that's real important to perpetuate the care and love of automobiles. And so that's one of the things we do. Then around Christmas time, we always look at our treasury, at our balance, and we decide how much we need to hold back for reserve. And then the rest of it we kick out to charitable organizations like United Way, the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Make-A-Wish, Jubilee Center, those kinds of places. And last year, I want to say that we dispersed about $8,500. So that's what we do with the proceeds.
So, Brad, another question then comes to my mind. How many volunteers, how many club members in Central Nebraska Auto Club, number one? Number two, how many how many members are on board? And then how many volunteers for this specific special time of the year?
Well, and our club is probably in that 50 to 60 member range, Bobby. And our club does a pretty good job of stepping up for this very important series of events. And so we have a lot of volunteers from them. The other thing that's kind of neat is we have other people that are not even members of our club that are willing to step up to the plate and volunteer and help. And so it's a group effort, and without a lot of help from our team, we couldn't do it. So, yeah, that's so important.
Well, number one, congratulations on your 30th. That's something you can be really proud of. And hats off to all the locals there in Kearney for accepting and inviting strangers with weird cars, beautiful cars, wild cars of all types into their fold, into their home. And a special hats off to the Central Nebraska Auto Club, to you, to Jerry Erickson, my good friend there. I can't tell you, I'm really proud. And then you make me really proud when you talk about the opportunity for bringing young people in. I have one more question I'm going to ask you to hold through the break. I hadn't planned on doing that, but I'm going to do that because I have one final question. Folks, don't touch that dial. We'll be back. This Tire Maintenance Minute is brought to you by General Tire and the G-Max AS03, the ultra-high-performance, all-season tire. The G-Max AS03 features a V-shaped pattern with aqua-cleave groove elements that help channel and direct water out of the tread for excellent resistance to hydroplaning. Want to go farther on your tires? Check tire pressure monthly, including your spare. Underinflated tires can decrease MPG and steering control, while overinflation results in a harsher ride. During your monthly pressure check, inspect tires for cuts or abrasions, then once a year, have your alignment evaluated. Improperly aligned tires will wear prematurely and even drag themselves on the road, ultimately reducing MPG. Finally, rotate and balance tires every 6 to 10,000 miles. Out-of-balance tires can bounce, which causes tire chop, wear issues, and an unstable vehicle. Drive to GeneralTire.com to learn more about the G-Max AS03, featuring patented interlocking 3D sight technology. The tread blocks actually work together to improve handling and reduce heat for increased tread life. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. Good morning, Car Clinic listeners nationwide. I've been talking with you about your automobiles for over 26 years now, and I've been servicing vehicles here in my own automotive service shop for 46 years. We won Best Automotive Service Shop, Best Oil Change, and Best Reputation in Automotive Service. And I'd be honored if you vote for my service shop again for Best of the Coast. Go to inweekly.net, look for Best of the Coast voting, click Services, scroll all the way to the bottom, then key in Bobby Likis for Best Automotive Service Shop and Best Oil Change. 4 simple steps. inweekly.net, Services, scroll to the bottom, key in Bobby Likis for Best Automotive Service Shop, and key in Bobby Likis for Best Oil Change. I appreciate your vote of confidence.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
I'm 98.
Higher.
Higher at 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back, folks. Just want to remind you that you can get in, and now is a perfect time for you to call 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. 227-2546. Miss Jan will take your call to put you in the queue, and then I will put you on the air. We're talking with Brad Kernick from Kearney, Nebraska, the Central Nebraska Auto Club. This is their cruise night that started off as a cruise night, as you heard, and now has evolved into a 5-day event. So, Brad, you still with us, right?
This is Jerry now, Bobby.
Okay, that was my final question for Brad was I would like to speak with my good friend Jerry Erickson. Jerry, how have you been? How's your family? And how's it in Kearney today for you?
It's about 4 excellence on that. The family's good. I'm good. The town is good. The cars are good. Can't get any better than this, Bobby.
Okay, quick question. How many cars do you have now, including the ones that you haven't started on restoring yet?
I have 4 restored. I just got my 57 retractable done about 2 weeks ago, and it had a few problems. We got fixed last night, and I got it on the street.
See, folks.
Got it on the street.
See, folks. I'm not. The reason that's a trick question because see, I have 4. I had 5. Now I have 4 cars, and everyone's like, "What do you do with all those cars?" And they're newer cars that we drive every day. Some of them are, and so here you are. You have 4 that you've restored. You still have the Ford truck.
I still have the Ford truck with a Hemi in it.
With a Hemi in it.
I still have my Mustang. I still have my 64 Chevy that you rode in.
Yes, sir.
And now I have finished my retractable.
What year? What year retract?
57, Bobby.
Okay. A quick question: do you understand and have you repaired the retractable mechanism and understand all the relays and micro switches?
I have to say yes to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have done 3 of them in reality. Made them all work.
Well, I will tell you, folks, my dad had one, and in 61, he had a 57 retract, and I was so proud of myself at that time that I could make that unit work, and I found that there are darn few people that can do that. I'll tell you, Jerry, congratulations to Kearney, and congratulations to you and the Central Nebraska Auto Club, and to all the folks in Kearney, and to Brad Kernick for sharing your experience and giving us the picture of what's going on today. And I wish for you and for everyone there, including all the 8 states, the folks that have come into Kearney and who are tuned in to KGFW, our affiliate there in Kearney, hats off and congratulations. You can be proud of what you're doing today.
thank you, Bobby. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you putting us on.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I'll let you get back to the burnouts and back to the funnel cakes. Really? Funnel cakes?
Really funny cakes. You betcha.
Okay, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, hats off to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate your time and effort.
You are more than welcome. My pleasure. Well, folks, it just doesn't get any better than that. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you know, money for charity, money for all of many nonprofit organizations, fun, and perpetuation of the automotive industry, because someone will have to repair cars, refrigerators, stoves, roofs, buildings, plumbing. You know, the service industry it has trended and toward the dire straits. I can tell you that because I'm in the service industry. But I believe with events and with people of the caliber that we just spoke with, all the way from Kearney, Nebraska to the state of Washington to California to Daytona Beach, of course. We have our own reporters everywhere, including Jim from Detroit. So let's go to the Motor City and talk with Jim. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Welcome back. Glad to have you in the house.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It sounds like your interview is a copy of our Detroit Dream Cruise. Ours lasts a week. The official time of the showing is on the 19th, but people are always driving their cars, the classic ones, up and down Woodward for the week before that happened.
We actually produced a live broadcast with Sirius Satellite Radio way back at an audio shop on the corner of, and I don't remember, and Woodward Avenue, and I don't remember the name of the corner. I can see it as I stand, as I sit here in the studio, but yes, the Woodward Avenue Dream Cruise is the largest single-day activity car show in the world. With as at last report, I heard more than 1.5 million folks, and just folks for it starts it ends up in Pontiac, and it starts not sure where it starts, but about 12 miles away. And you could walk, not that you would ever do this, you could step, as I understand, Jim, from one hood of a car to the trunk of the next car in front for 12 miles. That's how many vehicles there. Okay, let's shift gears again. What did you bring us today?
Okay, Bobby, let's talk about the new Tesla. Now, the new Tesla does 215 miles, which is short of the 238 that the new GM Bolt does.
Okay.
But I personally think that Tesla has a sharper looking and stylish body. It is really a cool, well-designed car, and it catches my eye.
I would agree with you, and last week we had Henrik Fisker on, and of course, you know, he is an icon. He certainly has designed the BMW Z8 and Aston Martin Vantage and other cars. But and that's that electric version. But just this week, I'm not sure that this is in your report, so I don't want to steal your thunder. I heard that Faraday was in trouble, and Faraday, folks, is a foreigner who made his money in the gaming arena, and he's going to build a $1 billion plant and start the Faraday luxury electric car. And I mean, it's like, you know, they're trying to follow Elon Musk, but you know what? He's in trouble this week because there's some issues with financial problems. I hope he gets it squared away and gets it settled, because I love new cars and I love new ideas. And while some of them have to be proved and discovered, yet to be discovered, it still makes life for us better. And that's what it's all about. Technology will survive and will prevail. Back to you.
Okay, and I still agree with you that gas-driven cars will still improve for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe for a long time have both on the road.
Absolutely. What else do you have, sir?
Okay, Bobby, we're going to talk about the new Honda, and it's been released at the end of this month at the Detroit area, and it's gotten a good reception. It's going to be longer. It's going to be, it's a little bit shorter, but it's going to be wider. and it has a 10-speed automatic transmission. And they're even coming up with a hybrid version of it. So, and they hope to get more sales with it. Their sales went down a little bit in the last 2 years, but they think they'll either hold on or get back to better sales. And I certainly think with a 10-speed transmission and a new body style, that people will be eager to buy it.
I would agree. One thing you said that triggered my mind, and because I'm so interested in the automotive industry, both from a repair standpoint and a classic car standpoint, like they're holding in not necessarily classic, but certainly all sorts of automobiles in Kearney, Nebraska today at the cruise night. I'm always interested in the new technology, and the Honda, for the last 4 or 5 years, because I think they are such a stable brand, I think they let that stable brand lull them to sleep. And I will say this, I also think that Volvo was lulled to sleep over the past 5, 6, 8 years, and now Volvo has announced that they're going to have all electric cars by 2019, or at least every car that Volvo makes will be powered to some extent, whether it's a hybrid or a full EV, by electric by the year 2019. So it appears to me, and I can remember, Jim and folks, when Volvo was known as the safe car. I mean, it was. And everything about a Volvo was geometrically designed in a square, rigid form, the steering wheel, the taillights, the roof, and then they changed and got the rounded look, and then now, so I said all that to say that it appears to me that the folks at Honda felt that same pressure, and now they're coming out with something that's a little bit better than what they've had before. And I'll tell you what drives that. Competition drives that. And even though I've never owned and don't own a Lexus or a Toyota, our shop is the Lexus shop in the area, because there's no Lexus dealer here, and we service tons of Lexus cars, and we have a Lexus specialist in-house. But I've never owned a Toyota, but when folks ask me for a used car, what to buy, I think Toyota, because I know I could never, no one's going to come back and say, well, you steered me in the wrong direction. So it's not that I want a Toyota, but they make darn good cars. Back to you.
Okay, I've heard also that electric cars do not need an oil change like a gas-driven car, and they're lower maintenance. Lower maintenance, and the fact recently that some of them are going to go up maybe in the next year to charge 400 miles in one charge, I think they're going to be more of a draw when they have more mileage.
I think so too, but just between you and me, I still love that guttural feel of the power when the power curve and the cams come on with an internal combustion engine, and that's not old school. And you know, they make sounds now. There's a company that makes sounds for electric cars, so you'll be able to dial in the sound of your electric car. And they're not to get into a long story, but Jim, when electric cars first came out, the National Hearing Aid Society, or for those who are deaf or hard of hearing, the concern was that you're walking down the road and you step out in front of a car because you don't hear it. And that really is something that I thought about. Lo and behold, 4 or 5 years later, now you can get sounds for electric cars. I'm curious to see which maker, including Tesla, comes out with your own tunable sound so that you can actually feel and hear and create that rumble from under the hood. Because truly, having the power under, it'd be like flying an airplane if you were like Commander Weiser, who was the lead for the Blue Angels last week. Hey, stay right there, folks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to run on there. We've got a hard break coming up. Jim, we're going to come back with you. And folks, take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. Dear Bobby, while traveling, my '08 Subaru needed to have a tire replaced due to a puncture. I could not find the exact tire and used an off-brand instead. Different brand, but same size. Could this cause problems for my all-wheel drive vehicle? Tire diameter is critical, especially on all-wheel drive vehicles. Using the same size from different manufacturers can create enough of a difference to be an issue, even with just one tire. Not to mention the differences in tread wear levels. The vehicle could shudder on turns. It could even damage the all-wheel drive system. In some vehicles, the all-wheel drive system becomes disabled and won't work at all. Vehicle manufacturers state the concern about mismatched tires and diameter differences through their service departments and technical service bulletins. Some vehicle manufacturers actually require replacement tires in sets of 4 to help avoid any issues. Buying off-brand tires can also be a problem because not all brands have nationwide coverage. This is just one of the reasons we recommend General Tire so frequently, as they're available coast to coast. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start out smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I'm privileged to be involved with Capstone Adaptive Learning, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy, for over 25 years. Since 1953, Capstone has provided quality care programs for persons with developmental disabilities like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and intellectual disabilities. Dr. Sherry White with her team are dedicated to Capstone's clients, and 100% of your contributions stay local to serve those in this community. Go to capstoneadaptivelearning.org to see the difference Capstone makes.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets, they're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Folks, summer's heat can be draining on your vehicle's battery. Rising temperatures can cause battery fluids to evaporate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and have your battery tested for free. And if your battery does need to be replaced, the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your vehicle at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. We're talking with Jim in Detroit, and then we're going to go to Kathy right here in Florida, and then we'll take your calls. Now's the time to get in. Don't wait till the last 2 minutes and I'll have to rush to get you through. I don't want to rush you. 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic. Jim, I want to turn the mic back to you. We're talking about EVs. We're talking about 10-speed Hondas. Really?
The old 10-speed, it means better performance, better mileage, and the transmission makes a difference.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can tell you. In fact, Ford Motor Company filed for a patent 2 years ago for an 11-speed transmission, so it ain't over yet.
And it's not over yet over what gas-driven cars can do. There's a lot planned for the future, and technology will bring it about.
No question about it. In closing, what else did you have for us today?
Okay, Fiat Chrysler recalls 1.3 million vehicles, and they're having a wiring problem in some and other problems in others. No deaths have been caused. But the worst thing about cars when people keep them for 4 years, in a year, if the car has announced a problem, 80% of the people, they respond. That doesn't mean they're going to come in when they get the letter from the dealer, but they respond to the letter. Now, when you get up to 5 years, only 44% respond. Is it still on the dealer's side of a problem? Not if the car person will not bring their car in to save their own life.
I agree 100%. You can lead a horse to water, as they say, and I agree with you. And the airbag, Takata airbag debacle is one of those things. Volkswagen, and for all of for all of the ill feelings that I might have with the VW actually fraudulently building a car that didn't pass emissions and then having a program that hide it. That part doesn't work for me at all. But I've had VW customers come to me and said, I'm not going to take my car to the dealer because I like the way it runs. I'm going to drive it the way it is. So I think the message here, Jim, and the message, folks, to you is, when you buy a machine, and a car is a machine, there's 6,000 parts at least, and there are lots of computers on board, things happen. And so you want to be proactive in the repair of that car. You also want to stay in tune with what might be a recall for your safety. And also, just think about it, even though you may sell the car sooner or later, you don't want to sell a car to someone that you know has a problem. And to that end, I can't tell you how proud I am of our car clinic customers that bring cars to us and they say, I'm going to sell this car, but I want you to fix it up first. What? Really? How much do you want to spend? Well, I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I want to make sure, let's inspect the car so that we know that it's safe, because I don't want to give the car to my daughter or to sell it to a neighbor or to sell it to a stranger and them have problems with it. That shows you the integrity of our customers, and that means a lot to me. Jim, I thank you so much for your report as always. I look forward to having you back on the air again next week.
Okay, Bobby, I look forward to it as well.
Okay, a quick comment. Fabio, you have a comment?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, God. Thank you all. I'll get even. With you. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us today.
Thank you.
What can I do for you? I'm here. What can I do for you?
I have an acquaintance who is he's going to be selling a 2006 Toyota Solara, and it's a beautiful convertible. It looks pristine. It looks like it came off the showroom with all the interior is perfect. Everything's perfect. He said he used it as a commuter car, but it has 176,000 miles on it, and it's a 2006 car.
Right.
He wants to ask $3,000 for it. That sounds like a really good deal to me. What does that sound like to you?
I think it sounds like well, number one, when you said Solara, the first thing I thought about was the interior, because I have seen so many of those cars, and it's a convertible, and people ride with the top down, and the interior suffers. So the fact that this car has a good interior is almost worth $3,000. Number one. Number two, does the air conditioner blow cold? Does it work? And you know for sure?
I don't know that for sure.
Okay, all right.
But it seems like you could fix that.
Well, you can.
The car's in good shape.
You can, but you can spend $1,000 if it had evaporator core. So you want to make sure that you don't spend $3,000 on a good deal, and then next week have to spend $3,000 to make it run like the good deal you thought it was. So there are two things that number one, I highly endorse the Toyota product, and I do that from experience in the automotive service industry. Number two, the Solara was a beautiful car, the convertible, and most interiors are trashed or at least worn. But that sounds like this car has had the top up a lot, been well kept. Number three, 170,000 miles doesn't bother me whatsoever. In fact, 100,000 miles, 170,000. If this gentleman drove this, or the owner drove this vehicle and put that many miles on it, chances are that he or she kept this car up, so that miles doesn't hurt a car as much as time and age does. I would not be concerned. Having said all of that, Under no circumstances do you sign the check until you have a third party perform a pre-purchase vehicle inspection. That's one of the services that we provide that is the best service. In fact, our PPI, pre-purchase inspection, is so universally fantastic, and it's an inexpensive service, that we took the same form that I personally started, created, and we updated and made it into an annual inspection so that our customers, who are regular customers and clients, can come in once a year, and we do an annual inspection, which is fashioned out of the exact 80-point inspection for our pre-purchase. So other than having an ASE technician look this car over before you buy it, just for safety's sake, then I would say you got a whale of a deal. Don't let anybody else beat you to buy that car. I wouldn't hesitate 1 minute to buy that car.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye.
And folks, that sounds almost too good to be true, but see, if we could go back, I've been on the air for 26 years, been in automotive service for 46 years. So if we could go back 15 years, or maybe 20 years, I can remember when dealerships, new car dealerships, used to take any car that had more than 100,000. If it had 98,000, maybe they put it on the used car lot. If it had 100,001 miles, if it had turned over, is what they say, that car never made the used car lot. They put it around back and wholesaled it. And then it would go to the wholesalers, and the wholesalers would come into the new car dealerships, and this still happens to this day, but not at 100,000 miles, and that's the point. What happens is that the dealerships trade these cars in, and they've got lots of miles on them, and they used to hide them around back or wholesale them. Now they sell them because at 150,000 miles, they're still good cars. Some of that's because the people were proactive that owned it. Most of that's because when they were made 150,000 miles ago, they were better cars. Cars are better than they've ever been before. And to that end, right here in our own community, there is the largest used car dealership on the Gulf Coast, and that's Frontier Motors. And I know for a fact, because I heard Ivan Streckel, who is the owner, I know for a fact that he has, of the 400 cars, that he has in his inventory, he has no less than 50 cars that are under $10,000. I didn't know that. And I thought I knew everything. Oh, no. I mean, I thought I knew about what he had. I know he has great cars because we do a lot of pre-purchase inspections, and I know that he has some consignment cars because, you know, his job, as he told me one day, Bobby, my job is not to sell cars. My job is to buy cars. I said, what do you mean? You own Frontier Motor, used car lot. He said, no. He said, if you sell 200 cars a month, you got to buy 50 cars a week. So his job is to find 50 cars a week. And when you think about it, think about it. Let's put yourself in that position. What if you had to find 10 cars a day, working days, 5 days a week? Let's say you had to find 10 cars a day and stake your reputation on those 10 cars. Now that brings a whole different level to it. So for that company to have 50 cars less than $10,000 means to me, and this Toyota Solara that Kathy just talked about, for $3,000, that probably would be a $5,000 or $5,500 car on the lot. But at 177,000 miles, would you even consider that, or would you put it on a buy here, pay here, one of those, one of those back hidden used car lots, which they serve a good purpose too? Because, not everyone can afford a brand new car, or not everyone can afford a late model used car. And even the buy here, pay here lots that I can honestly say off the air, we're not off the air, but off the air I may have chastised before, but because of interest rates, but you know what? They serve a purpose as well, because there are some people that and bad things happen to good people. There are some people that have credit issues, and that's the only way they can have a car, is to get a buy here, pay here lot. So businesses that serve a purpose. And as long as there's integrity and honesty, and I'll tell you, if you sell a used car, you should insist, if you're going to sell a used car, that the buyer take it to a local technician and have it checked out, understanding that, hey, this is a used car. And for Kathy, she's got 177,000 miles and the car still has good interior. That was a keeper for me, because so she has to spend $2,000 on the car. She's only got $5,000 in a Solero convertible that's a beautiful car. So you have to weigh and judge all those things. So there you are. That's sort of the excitement that I share with you on this special day, because I'm excited to be in the automotive repair industry. I'm excited to be here as host and your personal car consultant. And there's still time for one more question I'll take at 888-227-2546. Jim talked about 10-speed transmission Hondas. There are many flavors of car transmissions in the world, but all of them perform the same basic function. They channel the power generated by the engine, whether that engine is an ICE, internal combustion engine, or an electric vehicle, to the drive wheels. That's what a transmission does. Now, you say, well, that's a simple statement. Yeah, but there are a lot of people that don't understand that. A lot of people that could not, and still to this day especially, can't drive a standard transmission. But you know, when you go to a foreign country and you go to rent a car, you really should know how to drive a standard, because chances are you're not going to have an automatic transmission. And there's one, I got to tell you this. You got to go to facebook.com/Bobby Likis. Here, they're social media: Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. Let's see, what else? What else do we have? That's about it, right? Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. You go to pinterest.com/Bobby Likis, Likis. Facebook.com/same thing, Bobby Likis, Likis, and Twitter. And folks, let me share this with you. It just happened this week. Our smart car, our resident smart car that is driven every day, has had two problems, and it was the second smart car in our community. It's had two issues since brand new, and the car has, I think, 50,000 miles on it. The windshield wiper motor gears stripped. The motor runs, the wipers wipe, but they quit right in the middle of the big rains. We had to dismantle the front of the car. Think about this. Think about taking the fenders, the hood, the bumper, the nose of the car off to get to the firewall. That's what we had to do. And so we put this online this week because we had ordered the windshield wiper motor, and it came with all of the transmissions. In fact, the box that was shipped in was 4 feet long. The motor's the size of your fist, but it came with all of the linkages, all the ball sockets, the transmissions, the motors, and everything. And in order to get it off, we had to dismantle the front of the car, and we put that on to Facebook. So when you get a chance, visit our, and like us, you'll love us, like us on Facebook. In fact, when you hear someone said in any business, go to Facebook and like us, think of Bobby Likis. Hey, that's not a bad idea, is it? Like us. In fact, the license plate on our smart car is LIKE blank us, like us. Like us, you'll love us. Happy birthday to me? Darn right. Happy birthday to all of those of you. I'll see you next hour.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Folks, recently we had a for-sale 2014 Nissan Frontier in the shop. The customer said the vehicle wasn't running well, nothing specific, but fuel mileage was down and the vehicle had lost its zip. As he explained, it's a manual transmission, so I know what it should feel like, and it's just not right. The suggested maintenance and ignition service were up to date, and there were no trouble codes. So what was the problem? The answer lies with today's complex engines. While the maintenance schedule was on time, engines today are prone to carbon deposit formation, and fuel system cleaning is a key piece of the puzzle. Professional fuel system cleaning is an option, but a less expensive alternative is the use of a pour-in fuel system cleaner. We use Berryman B12 Chem Tool in the shop. It features Berryman's proprietary high-energy solvent, or HEST technology. We poured a bottle of Berryman B12 Chem Tool into the Frontier, and after just one tank of gas, MPG improved and the vehicle regained its zippiness. For more information, drive to BerrymanProducts.com. That's BerrymanProducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
If you're familiar with the Kulsiford section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the Kulsiford section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with, and by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a Bluck sedan with sniffed like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's vehicle protection program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1 minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And thank you, Marty White. Folks, good morning. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Sit back, ride along with me this hour, and we'll talk cars. I don't have any planned call-ins with regard to the Henrik Fiskers of the world. Earlier in today's broadcast, we heard from Sir Jim in Detroit, and we also heard from Brad Koenig and also Jerry Erickson from Kearney, Nebraska, with the cruise night. Cruise nights. He started off as a cruise night in Kearney, Nebraska. Now it's a 5-day car show event with everything from funnel cakes to burnouts. Think about that. Funnel cakes to burnouts. I think I could eat one funnel cake and then I would be burned out for the rest of the day. And I would still do it. You know, what is it? You do things that you know are gonna, put a few pounds around the waistline and you do it anyway? Oh, well, hey, you drive your car and you don't bring it in for service anyway. Hey, folks, what's with that? Let's talk about service when I come back. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by General Tire and the Ultimax RT43. Now, the Ultimax RT43 is designed for a quiet, comfortable ride that includes the visual alignment indicators to identify when a vehicle is misaligned. How cool is that? Visit GeneralTire.com for details and come back after the break. Time for another question from the Car Clinic inbox. Dear Bobby, I recently had my 2012 Hyundai Sonata serviced, and the dealer mentioned I'm going to be needing tires soon. I haven't shopped for tires in a while. Do you have any recommendations? Well, that was an easy question for me to answer, folks. Since the Hyundai was new just 5 years ago, tire technology has improved greatly. Not just rubber compound and tread design, but features have been added to help both the vehicle owner and mechanic alike assess both vehicle and tire condition. General Tire, for example, now offers many tires that feature both alignment and tread wear indicators built in. These indicators will tell both the novice and the trained eye when the tire needs to be replaced and when the vehicle's out of alignment. Now is an especially good time to be shopping for tires. General Tire is offering up to $70 on a prepaid Visa gift card when you purchase 4 qualifying tires. And with new tires like the G-Max AS05, the selection has never been better. Find your next set of tires at GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. Diablo Sport tuning systems boost your vehicle's power without popping the hood. But don't take my word for it. NHRA racer Bart Tobener has used Diablo Sport since 2001 and currently has an Intune i2 on his daily driver. Bart, the first to eclipse the 7-second mark with an S550 Mustang, knows horsepower. Says Bart, I'll continue to use Diablo as they lead the way in aftermarket handheld and tuning products. Drive to DiabloSport.com.
It's Mosquito Awareness Week, and Dynatrap has 3 simple steps to help you stay safe from mosquitoes this summer. 1. Remove standing water in planters and other places water can collect. 2. Wear light-colored long-sleeve clothing and apply repellents when outdoors. 3. Inspect and patch holes in screen doors and windows. Head to Dynatrap.com/Mosquito Week for more tips and tricks on keeping mosquitoes at bay all summer long.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com. When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I am delighted that you tuned in today. It is a special day, as are all broadcasts. I have to tell you, it's just a whole lot of fun that we talk about automobiles. And I'm going to take your calls just as they come in and dedicate this show to you today. 888 Car Clinic is the number for you to call. That's 888-227-2546. So let's go to California and kick off the show with today's call from Charles in California. Charles, good morning. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Good morning, Bobby. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, now I know Jan's going to put everyone up to this, but that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. By all means, what can I do for you? I'll turn the mic to you.
Well, I have a question and a comment. Question is about run-flat tires. If you buy a car with run-flat tires, when you have to replace them, can you replace them with regular tires, or do you have to stick with run-flat?
That is a great question, and I will tell you, were in your position, I would take those run-flat tires off. I specifically do not like run-flats, and here's why. Comfortable ride is part of what a car is all about. Granted, you have to have traction, and you have to have a good set of tires that meet the rubber, because that's where the rubber meets the road and what have you. But run flat tires offer a hedge against having a flat tire on the road and you can't do anything about it. But with the advent and so many cell phones now, and the terrific highways that we have in the United States, I mean, seriously, I mean, there's 30 miles. You can take a bio break every 30 miles. So, and even though maybe people don't stop and help others on the highway as often, there's always somebody that will stop and help you. So for my nickel, I specifically, when I ordered in 06 a new Mini Cooper and loaded it up, it was a $30,000 loaded car with all sorts of options, including a paddle shift, $1,300 transmission. I specifically made sure I did not get run flat tires. Charles, you do not have to replace run flats with run flats, and furthermore, I suggest not doing that because you'll get a better driving automobile. Will you have the opportunity to have a flat tire? Yeah, so what? Have you ever had? When's the last time you had a flat tire?
Gosh, I can't even remember. It must have been 10 years.
Yeah, and flat tires normally occur sometimes on the highway when you run over something that fell off of a vehicle, but usually in neighborhoods where new construction's going on and roofing nails or a roofer. That's really where we see our customers, and I can't tell you how many of our customers, especially now that you've got the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring systems, that tell you when the tire gets below a certain threshold of pressure.
Right.
So the answer is no. And also I'd love for you to, what do you drive?
Well, currently I drive a Volkswagen, but I'm considering buying a BMW, and they have run flat tires.
Well, can you get the option to not have run flat tires on that same car?
I honestly don't know.
Well,
I'll have to ask.
I wouldn't ask. I would go online and I would check for myself. I mean, in other words, and let me say this in the right fashion because I don't want to put flame toward anyone. If you go to a new car dealership and there's a salesman there and you see a car you like, and that car, I mean, you like the color and you like the interior, and then one of the things you look at is the run flat tires, the salesman's going to say, well, hey, they're fine, but that's not personally what you want. But it just may be that if you find that, there could be another car with the same wheel and the same size tire on the lot that doesn't have run flats. And
so I don't have to change the wheels or anything like that.
Well, I would want to change if I had the choice and I had two BMWs side by side. One had they had the same wheels except that one had regular tires and the other had run flats. I would want the wheel assemblies changed. I would not want the tires taken off the wheels and put on my wheels because that's a difficult task. Hats off, I'll tell you, and we sell tires, and more of a courtesy than anything else. The biggest tire store in our city is Vanoy's Tire, and Jeff Vanoy he does a great job. His crew does a great job, but I can tell you, they work for their money. It ain't easy to get a tire off, and I'm especially a run flat tire because that's so, and low profiles. Oh, heaven forbid, Anyway, the bottom line, don't buy run flats.
Right. Okay. You had a caller a few weeks ago talking about Penetrol.
Yes. Yeah. Penetrol.
Yeah. Well, I was a long-time house painter, and it's a great paint additive, and you can use. It's great for applying to metal to keep it from rusting. But I don't know if I would use it for plastic, although you can use it for fiberglass according to the labels.
Well, it wasn't for plastic per se, but yes, it was for plastic, but it was more for it was plastic moldings, and whatever material, polycarbonate material. The challenge is that, and there was a New York caller, I think his name was Bill, as I remember, because I was going to go out and buy that product, and lo and behold, someone was listening and just pulling into a big box store, and they went in and bought it, but they bought the wrong. They didn't buy the Penetrol.
They bought Flotrol.
Yeah, exactly. They bought the water base, not the oil base.
Right.
And
Yeah.
It was $6 and some cents versus $9. But I have to tell you, I'd rather buy a product that was made for automotive and use it on my automotive. But I'm not against trying, because I can tell you right now, the day that you say, oh, that'll never work, never is not in my vocabulary. And because you always have to be open to learn, because life is all about learning. And Charles, I'm delighted that you called me today. In final closing, what color BMW and what series?
328 diesel.
Great choice. Great choice. Yeah. Hey, good luck. Let me know what you find, and let me know about the run flats and see what the dealer says. If you can find another car with a different set of wheels and tire, as long as you get the no run flats, you don't need those run flats. The car will ride better. And BMWs are kind of firm riding anyway, so I would be agitated to have a run flat tire and a BMW firm ride. You see where I'm going? That's a double whammy.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Okay,
One
my
more
friend.
Thing.
All right.
Well, Penetrol, you cannot find it in California anymore.
Why? VOCs? EPA?
VOC, yeah. You can't buy it anymore in California.
Well, you can buy almost anything else in California, can't you?
Expensive gas, yeah.
Okay, my friend. Thank you for your kind words. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. 888-227-2546. I'm going to go to our General Tire website. That's generaltire.com, and see what I can learn, not now, this week. In between 2 and 4 in the morning, which is where I do some of my best work, or at least when I'm awake, and see and learn more about run flat tires and see what General Tire, how they offer it, because I have a great deal of respect for the General Tire, and I'm very curious to see how they position if they sell run flat tires. But face it, I mean, it's all about physics. It being, if you take the air out of a tire, how does the tire stay up? That means the side walls are more rigid, which means the tire is harsher riding. I mean, it's pure, basic, simple facts. Let's go back to Kearney, Nebraska, and talk with Jim in Kearney, Nebraska. Well, Jim, I understand there are like 500 or 600 cars, and Kearney, Nebraska is all filled with cars today.
Well, I haven't made it there yet. I'm on my way.
Okay, you're on your way. Well, don't have a funnel cake because of me, but just know they have funnel cakes according to Brad and Jerry there, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Run flat tires.
Okay.
I live in the country. I have 3 miles of gravel road, and flat tires are a way of life. And every time the road is maintained, they dig up the, all the stuff along the edge of the road, bolts, nails, all kinds of junk.
Right.
And I have a car that has run flat tires, and it has no spare. So I'm very happy with my run flat tires. It's something that, I would put back on my car.
I agree with you 100%. And there again, that is not the norm, as you well know. Jim, got Heartbreak coming up. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. So, folks, there you have it. Specific applications, you got to have run flats. Stay tuned. Bobby Likis will be back. This Tire Maintenance Minute is brought to you by General Tire and the G-Max AS03, the ultra-high-performance, all-season tire. The G-Max AS03 features a V-shaped pattern with aqua-cleave groove elements that help channel and direct water out of the tread for excellent resistance to hydroplaning. Want to go farther on your tires? Check tire pressure monthly, including your spare. Underinflated tires can decrease MPG and steering control, while overinflation results in a harsher ride. During your monthly pressure check, inspect tires for cuts or abrasions, then once a year, have your alignment evaluated. Improperly aligned tires will wear prematurely and even drag themselves on the road, ultimately reducing MPG. Finally, rotate and balance tires every 6,000 to 10,000 miles. Out-of-balance tires can bounce, which causes tire chop, wear issues, and an unstable vehicle. Drive to GeneralTire.com to learn more about the G-Max AS03, featuring patented interlocking 3D sight technology. The tread blocks actually work together to improve handling and reduce heat for increased tread life. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. Good morning, Car Clinic listeners nationwide. I've been talking with you about your automobiles for over 26 years now, and I've been servicing vehicles here in my own automotive service shop for 46 years. We won Best Automotive Service Shop, Best Oil Change, and Best Reputation in Automotive Service. And I'd be honored if you vote for my service shop again for Best of the Coast. Go to inweekly.net, look for Best of the Coast voting. Click Services, scroll all the way to the bottom, then key in Bobby Likis for Best Automotive Service Shop and Best Oil Change. 4 simple steps. inweekly.net, Services, scroll to the bottom, key in Bobby Likis for Best Automotive Service Shop, and key in Bobby Likis for Best Oil Change. I appreciate your vote of confidence.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone tip
from Geico Auto Insurance.
When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I invite your calls. The gentleman from Nebraska there that lives on the 3 miles of gravel road and loves his run flats. I agree with him. So again, it's all about application. It being what you buy is about application. So there are times when run flats, but for the normal drive for yours truly, in my opinion, and because physically the run flats have a stronger sidewall, they will not ride as smoothly as, or as smooth as rather, as a regular constructed tire. Okay, I'll take your calls, or Jen will take your calls at 888-227-2546. Take a call from Jim. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you for holding.
Thanks a lot, Bobby. I have a Chevy 2000 S10 with a 4.3-liter motor in it.
Okay.
And I had some work done on it recently. I was losing water. I never let it get hot because I have a gauge, not a light. So I watch my gauges pretty tight.
Good.
And so I take it in, and they do. I've changed all the hoses myself and everything. So I take it into the shop, and they do a pressure test. They say the intake manifold's losing water around the intake. I said, okay. So I take it in to get it fixed, and my truck had never run over 210. In fact, it never even hit 210 degrees before that.
Mm-hmm.
But and if it ever did creep up when I knew it needed a little water, I just stop and take care of it. Anyway, as they were doing the job, they ended up telling me my spider wires injectors were bad. I ended up having to replace that. They said the truck was running rough, which it wasn't. But I bit the bullet on that and took it in. So now I get the truck back, and it runs hotter now than it used to run. Also, it still seems to be losing water. I had the work done about 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, and I put water in it twice since then, a little water in it, maybe a half a gallon each time. And when I run, now I know it's real hot here in Florida, but when I'm running my AC now, my truck actually, if I'm in traffic and stuff, she gets a little warm. I don't let it overheat. I never let my vehicles overheat.
I hear you.
But I'm wondering, and I smell antifreeze. And so I took it back to him, and he changes the radiator cap, which I just put that radiator cap on 6 months ago. I don't believe that cap was bad and was my problem. I never heard of one going bad in 6 months. I've rarely seen any of them go bad, but I do know they go bad. But
all true. Go ahead.
I stopped my vehicle, I let it set, and now I see water under it on the driver's side where there's no hose over there, but that's where I see the drip on the water.
Well, that's where.
And,
that's where.
What the heck's going on with it?
That's where I was going when you said the one key word that you said, and thank you for the detailed report. That helps me to help you. But one thing that you said that I am 100% on board, and that was before you said you saw coolant. You smell coolant. When you smell coolant, there's nothing like that sweet burned. I mean, coolant, ethylene glycol. Which is what whether it's OAT or a different organic antifreeze or otherwise, it's all ethylene glycol. There's nothing as sweet smelling. I mean, gosh, we have customers that come in with heater cores, and the windshield fogs up. When you get in the car, you smell that that sweet smell. In fact, one of the biggest issues years ago that recycling yards had was that there would be radiators and cars that were put out in the yard that had coolant and that would leak, and there'd be old hubcaps and dogs would drink coolant because it tastes. I guess I don't know what it tastes like, but it's sweet smelling. Well, I do know what it tastes like because I've tasted it before. But the bottom line is that it's toxic and can kill you, and it kills animals. So I said all that to say, like the raw odor of a leaking fuel something, there's nothing so descriptive and pinpointable as the raw odor of coolant. So I'm going to suggest that you go back to that shop if you feel comfortable doing that. Or you can always go to get a second opinion, but I think that the shop should step up, talk to the manager. I would wait until about 10 o'clock on a given day. Don't go in at 7:30 or 8 or 9 because that's when the first batch of cars comes in. Wait till about 10 o'clock, and that allows the service team to get their ship in order. And the fresh batch of load of cars, and they get those dispatched and all those. And then go in and say, look, I've got a challenge here. I want to talk about it. And see how responsive. And if they're not responsive, go over their head. Find out who is responsive. If they want your business, they have to earn your business. And now is when they have to step up because they've done some work. And the work that they did probably was needed. It's not about the work they did. It's about what it takes to fix the car and find out what's wrong with the car now. And that's what you need to know, because there's a problem there, and the fact that you added a half a gallon twice, that's not good. A cup of water, I would say, hey, leave it alone. But a half a gallon, you got a leak there, and a leak is findable. Now, having said that, I would remind you and all service shops, sometimes you don't see the leak. So what do you search for? You search for a ring around the collar. What is that? You search for where a leak was, and think about it this way. Here's a picture. Let me paint it for you. Let's take a big picture window or a mirror in your bathroom and spray Windex on it. And then walk away and come back in 10 minutes. You don't see any Windex, but you sure see the ring around the collar. You sure see the stain.
Right.
And so when you have a fuel leak and you can't find it, you look on the chassis where all the hoses are, or the engine, and you'll find where it leaked because it will have a distinguished stain or bleed or something, as long as you're not looking for the liquid stuff. Now that's in those really hard to find leaks that you know that you got a leak because you smell it and you can't find it. And the same thing's true for you. You look at freeze plugs, you look at the weep hole in the water pump, you look at the intake manifold that's been replaced, you look for all external, and last but not least, at the back of the block, there's some core plugs, freeze plugs there, and it's possible that the back of the block is leaking. If that's the case, you look in the bell housing for where coolant could have run out, because what happens is that coolant will take an aluminum and it will stain the aluminum and make it corroded. So you look for some corrosive evidence. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so my other question is, I put like $1,000 into it.
Okay.
Would changing that manifold cause that spider injectors to go bad?
No. Spider injectors were bad. Spider injectors were bad before you ever took your car. Spider injectors were bad 50,000 miles after the car was made. I mean, literally. That's the worst. The spider injectors are the worst idea that some bean counter ever had. It had to be a bean counter because you got one big injector and you got 6 spider tubes coming off of it, and you expect it to distribute fuel evenly and not give trouble. And then to top that off, you put that inside a plenum chamber where you can't even get to it. You got to take the manifold apart. So if you got an S10, there's 2 things: the spider, the seal where the fuel line comes into the intake manifold, and the carbon yuck that gathers inside the manifold from the PCV system and the spider injector. Anybody that drives an S10 Chevrolet with a spider injector, you need one. I mean, that's just part of that's not all bad. It's just that's part of the nature of that beast, that era.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, I had another guy tell me that too, so I had no problem replacing it. I mean,
I agree. Yeah, that's a common have no ill feelings toward the shop that replaced a spider injector, because it's either today or tomorrow, but all spider injectors got to go.
Right, but the owner's always been good to me, but the mechanic in me, we can't see him. He's not a people person, but
yeah, that could be tough.
Yeah, and so the thing is, should I be responsible for having to pay for another job, or should he fix this thing and make it right? Because it wasn't, it's in my, it wasn't getting hot when I ran my air conditioner before. I mean, I know it's 100 degrees down here, but
it depends. The answer, Jim, depends on what is found, and therein lies. You have to look at what is found, what has been found. So you don't know that yet. So what first you have to do, and this is what I'll absolutely leave you with, communication with the owner, specifically looking for where this coolant is coming from, and when you find that, you will have the answer, even if it's something that you feel like they should have seen to start with. When you go into a doctor's office and you've cut your arm, the first thing that you do is you stop the bleeding. That's how we prioritize our repairs. Because we first stop the bleeding. So you first stop you got a plumbing, you got a leak, you fix that pipe. Well, what happens? Another pipe breaks, and you say, well, wait a minute, you just fixed the pipe, not that one. So that's a part of the issues that we have in the automotive repair. All the more reason that you have a great communication and trust. Trust is the word for your shop. So I want you to, number one, go to the owner, and I want you to have a conversation because you obviously trust him. You said you liked him. I want you to look at the technician and say, just for when you have an opportunity, I want you to look to the technician and say, I would be more comfortable if you would do me the courtesy of being more open. I'm not asking you to be gregarious, and I'm not asking you on a date to go to a big party and dance with me. I'm just asking you to give me your findings and be open with me, even if you think I won't like the answer. Because I have found that there are some people, whether it's my trade or a doctor or a roofer, they don't really know how to communicate. They just, I'm here to fix a roof. Bang, bang, bang. No, wait a minute. While you're at it, do you think we need to replace the tarp? Well, yeah. What, you think I'm stupid? Well, no, I didn't say that. So that's communication is the key. Jim, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for your call. Folks, I'm going to take a short commercial break because Fabio's got the music going, and then I'll be back to take your call to 888 Car Clinic.
Your car and your life have a lot of moving parts, and your car's battery is what keeps it all going. Here's something to keep in mind. While all batteries may look the same on the outside, it's what's inside that matters. So be sure to choose a battery with power frame technology inside. It's stronger, more durable, and keeps you going longer. That means you can count on a battery with power frame to be there start after start. Here's another reason to feel good about choosing a battery with power frame inside. It's manufactured using the latest sustainable processes. You're moving fast, and you don't want anything to slow you down, especially an unreliable battery. So the next time you need to replace your car's battery, make sure you choose one with power frame technology inside. Look for power frame on the outside and know there's true strength on the inside.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? Because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I would invite you to call. Now is a fantastic time to call and discuss. If you heard my conversation just now, to discuss how you communicate with your service shop, because that's what it really takes. I'm not here, as I've said many times, to repair your car, but I am here to share with you buzzwords and to help you better understand, number one, the nature of the beast that you drive, or the mismanners. The cars can be both. They can be, Attila the Hun or mismanners. Usually, they're Attila the Hun when you drive it and you take it into a shop, and they're mismanners. That's just the way cars are. Or at least it appears that way. It's, let me give you the number, and Jan will take your call. Then I want to share with you what I learned this week, or the last 3 weeks. I can do that in 2 minutes, I promise. 888-227-25. Well, I don't know if I can do anything in 2 minutes, but, well, there are some things that I can do in 2 minutes, but we won't go there. 888-227-2546. 888 Car Clinic. 888-227-2546. Okay, So you all know, for those of you who know me, that I own a 1980 model VSOC or YSOC limited edition Porsche. This car is drop dead gorgeous. It's as new. I do not drive this car because I choose not to drive it, because when rock chips, and that's what happens when you drive cars, rock chips the paint, and the paint is, although the Germans call it Schwarz metallic, it's a deep charcoal metallic, and if you walk up to it in the sun, it's unbelievably beautiful. But if you take a flashlight, walk up to it in the shop, which is where I keep it all the time, you can see through the deep dark charcoal and see that pearl underneath. The challenge, if a rock chips it, you see the pearl. It chips white, and if it weren't so dark, you wouldn't see the chip. But it's like, oh, there's another. So it has 3 chips on it that only I know where they are, and I take a magic marker, and it's like the pinhead, and I dot it, and then it goes away. So I don't drive it. So recently, because I haven't driven this car in years, but it runs and it cranks regularly, and it's stored. It's an 80 model, by the way, and it has E10 fuel in it, and it's stored, and it runs perfectly. So that's another story in and of itself. But the windshield washers quit working. And then last Saturday after the program, Jonathan helped me, because his hands were smaller than mine, to try to plug on some new hoses and what have you. Well, lo and behold, here's the simplistic way a windshield washer works. You got a reservoir that holds windshield washer fluid. You got a hose that goes from the reservoir to a motor that pumps that washer fluid onto the windshield through nozzles. That's it, right? Wrong. The German version in my 1980 Porsche has a 3-hose system. The reservoir holds 2.2 gallons, is mounted under the left front wheel in the left front fender, actually right adjacent to the battery that's mounted on the left side, and come to think of it, where the driver is. So that's kind of unusual to put all that weight on one side, now that I think of it. Having said that, the 2.2 gallons of water gelled and became a growth for microbial growth and debris and yuck. And I have pictures of this. I haven't posted yet. It was sickening. And it clogged all the arteries of all the hoses, literally. And so I had to replace the hoses, had to pull the tank down, and what have you. But here's what I learned. One hose goes from the tank to feed the pump. Great, easy. Another hose goes from the pump to the windshield washer nozzles. Easy. But the hose that goes to the washer nozzles has a T in it, and also puts pressure back into the tank, so that you have equal pressure and you don't have all of that pressure and water flow that comes from the pump trying to force more water through the nozzles. So you have an orificed hose that goes back, and it's a return hose that goes to the jug, to the reservoir. And then, last but not least, you have another small hose that is a vent hose that goes as a vent. And the irony of that is that the fill cap, which is located 2 feet away under the gas tank flap, has a plastic pop top on it, a little like a little plastic pop that is not airtight. So it doesn't even need an air bleed. But the tank that holds the water for the reservoir for the windshield washer of this German 80 model car has an air bleed hose, a return hose, and a feed hose. Now, if you talk about over-engineering, that's over-engineered. So anything you want to know about this car, I now think I know about it. Let's go to New York and take a call from John and talk about his Cadillac Sedan DeVille. John, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir.
I'm just wondering, I took this, I'm not a big Cadillac person, but the price is right. It's only got 125,000 miles on it.
Okay.
It's 94.
All right.
I don't know what you think of the 4.9 engine, but I heard that was the better one compared to the 4.6, I was or whatever. I took it in for inspection, and I'm just wondering, have you ever seen a torsion bar break? I'm talking about the big long thing in the front there and whatever.
I don't think that car has torsion bars on it. I think you're talking about a sway bar.
Well, yeah, maybe I got the terminology wrong. This is in the front end.
Yes, sir. Does
Right.
it go across from one wheel to the other? Or
It's supposed to, but the right part isn't there. So
okay. It is. Well, have I ever seen? Well, I think that's a sway bar, not a torsion. A torsion bar is used to hold the height of the car. It twists and is adjustable. My Porsche.
That's what I was reading on the internet, so I figured I had the wrong.
Yes, sir. So a torsion bar sets the right height, and Chrysler's had my Porsche has torsion bars on it, versus a coil spring or an air spring. So I think you're talking about the sway bar. Now, to that end, in my 46 years, I cannot remember ever seeing a sway bar broken. But having said that, it is a big wire, albeit, almost an inch in diameter. It's just one big coil wire that continuously moves left and up and down, so it twists like a coat hanger. So that's not a big deal, and it's not expensive to repair. But is that a common? Absolutely not. Now, it's common for the ends of the sway bar links to wear out because they're rubber grommets, and if you drive a Chrysler van and you hear a little rattling, knocking noise, you got to replace the sway bar links. I mean, that's just common. If you're doing an oil change on a Chrysler van, you better inspect the sway bar links. It has nothing to do with the oil change, but that's common. But no, it's not a common. But I wouldn't let that bother me because that's not a big deal. And you could find that part in a used recycling yard very easily, and it would be a safe bet if you could, and that'd save you probably. A dealer's not even going to stock a sway bar because that's not something that we use or ask for. Your questions.
Right, yeah. There's a local yard around here. That's where I'm going to go. I think that's the only place I can find it besides
I agree.
New one or whatever. Real quick, what's your opinion of the 4.9 liter engine?
Well, I don't like the engine. Now, let me ask a question. This car, are you talking about the North Star engine, the aluminum North Star engine?
No, it just says 4.9
4.9.
liter.
Okay, you're talking about that. Well, that year was better than the predecessor, and which is what you just said. When that engine first came out, they had a main bearing clunking noise of that aluminum block, and many of those engines, clunk, 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 they all had this deep main bearing knock that was disconcerting and caused a lot of Cadillac owners to jump ship. But I have no, if that engine has never been overheated and it doesn't have any sludge, I wouldn't be concerned with it. It depends on each to its own, but certainly I would look very closely for oil leaks. And also, John, on the back of the block, that motor sits transversely in there.
Right.
So on the back side, you have the exhaust manifold that is next to the firewall. Whereas normally on an engine that faces north and south, you have a left and right exhaust manifold. Well, in your V8, the engine faces, it T-bones the car, so the right side exhaust manifold is adjacent to the firewall, and there's a wiring harness right there. So that's a to-do for you to inspect the wiring harness, and it's located near the right valve cover of that engine, just because that's part of that car's nature to cook that harness, and you want to make sure that that's healthy back there and there's no oil leaks back there, because that valve cover gasket's prone to leak as well because of the heat that I think that the engineers really, they knew it was going to get hot, but it depends on the atmosphere and the weather and those sorts of things. Though other than that, I wouldn't have any concerns about buying a used '94 Cadillac. I definitely would check all the accessories, the windows, to make sure the regulators are working. I mean, you got to expect those things that are. You're going to spend a couple $1,000s 3 months from now on this used Cadillac if you buy it. So figure that in when you buy the used car. Figure $2,000 to bring it back up to whatever you don't know that's wrong with it today. Any questions?
Yeah, real quick. It's thrown a PO41 code, the Hall effect sensor in the distributor.
So, yes, sir.
Well, it's called a cam sensor Hall effect.
Right.
I heard it's real hard to get to, and now that I'm thinking, maybe that harness you're talking about, I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, but that's okay. You can fix those sorts of things, and that engine and the harness and what have you is not terribly sophisticated. I can think of a lot of other cars. I mean, if you were thinking about buying a '94 Audi or a used Mercedes, aged Mercedes, there could be some serious high dollar expenses in repairs. But quite candidly, Cadillac did a pretty good job that year. I mean, except for the preceding V8, and I've already talked about that. But last but not least, make sure you have the car inspected. But have you already bought this car?
Yeah, that's what happened. I had it inspected. Through a couple, I had to put two new tires on the front.
Okay,
they got
all right.
a bumper there.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be okay. Just as I said, just figure a couple $1,000s, and you'll have a good ride, and you'll have a car that you can enjoy, and that's pretty cheap luxury when you think about it, because that car new probably costs what, $40,000, $45,000, $50,000.
Wow. Yeah. Well, real fast. Will that Hall effect sensor get to the point where it kills the ignition or not?
Well, it gets to the point where the car won't run if it goes completely bad, and it may not be the Hall effect. It may be the wire going to it. So get that fixed. Whatever the code is, get that fixed, because let me share this last thing with you. That uses the older OBD1 onboard diagnostics first generation computer. So,
right, yep.
So the diagnostics or testing of that system is harder to do and not as easy to pinpoint as the 96 and later model OBD2 cars. So it's not a plug and play. You can't go and plug in your machine and read as much as you can for today's. But anyway, hey, it's a used car. Just expect it to be a used car, and find you a technician you trust, and stay with them and enjoy the ride.
Quick note: the car was never smoked in. The ashtray's like new, the lighter is like new. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I'm with you 100%. See, so there's the best thing. I mean, because you know what, you can't. That's something you'd have to live with. If that were the case, and that's a deal breaker for me. Hey, thank you, John, for your call.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's the end of this program. I want to share with you, and I want to ask you to do something now for me. I'd like for you to go 4 simple steps. Best of the Coast. We've won Best of the Bay in automotive service and oil change for the past 7 years. But this year, we didn't. We did what was better. We were inducted into the Best Automotive Service Shop Hall of Fame. I talked about this last week. Well, there's a couple of other awards that we'd like to win. One of them you can help me with, and it's by Best of the Coast. So I'm asking all of our Car Clinic listeners as a personal favor to me and to my team. It's 4 simple steps. Go to ninweekly.net. Go to Services. This is Best of the Coast. So you'll have to find it on their site. inweekly.net, Services. Scroll all the way to the bottom and key in Bobby Likis for Best Automotive Service Shop and Best Oil Change. I appreciate your vote. Like us, you'll love us. Happy birthday to me and to all of our friends out there. See you next week.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P-Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning. Happy morning, your name is Folgers Mountain Grow. Now you're here, your aroma helps me wake